Good morning, students. Welcome to the second video lecture on migration. So in the previous lecture, we have discussed about the different types of migration. The migration is mainly for the spawning. So they are also called as the spawning migration. The different types of migration includes diatromous, vertidramus, oceanodramus. And diatromous is again divided into anadromous and catadromous. And we have seen what are the different types, and let's discuss once again what are the different types in detail. So first of all, we will just discuss about the anadromous migration. In anadromous migration, the fishes migrate from the sea to freshwater to spawn. So in order to breed, the fishes migrate from the sea to freshwater, or the ones which stay entirely in the seawater and migrates upstream to the spawn. So the certain fishes live entire life cycle in the seawater, but at the time of spawning, they just migrate to the freshwater. And that type of fishes are called as anadromous fishes, and that type of migration is called as anadromous migration. So in anadromous fishes, anadromous fish born in freshwater spends most of its life in the sea and return to the freshwater to the spawn. So the young ones which is hatching will be in the freshwater, and after a while they just migrate from the freshwater to the original habitat, that is a seawater. And adults usually die off after the spawning, and the advantages to conditions of different habitats are particularly with regard to the salinity of the water. They have the special adaptations to cope up with the salinity of the water. And for example, the salmon is a good example for anadromous fishes. Then sturgeon, sea lamprey, trout, hilsa, then bass, striped bass, etc. are the good example for the anadromous type of migration. And let's see anadromous adaptations in salmon. The salmon hatch in the small freshwater fishes, and they migrate to the sea to mature. And when they mature, the salmon return to the same stream. When mature, the salmon return to the same stream where they are hatched to spawn. And this homing behavior has been shown to depend on the olfactory memory. So for laying the egg, the salmon moves from the marine to the freshwater, and while the young salmon hatches in the freshwater, they returns from the freshwater to the seawater, and they shows a type of homing behavior, and the memory it is a type of olfactory memory, and they are capable of going hundreds of kilometers upriver. And this is a life cycle showing the movement of salmon. So adult salmon, after spending 1 to 5 years in the ocean, that means 80% of the life cycle in the ocean, they enter into the freshwater for the spawning. And at this time, certain changes occurs in the adult. That is, adult changes significantly itself to adjust into the life in freshwater, and they change the color. They stop eating. The males develop a hooked jaw, and they stop the drinking, and they just enter into the freshwater and for the spawning. And in freshwater they breed, and the adult die off, and after spawning the adult die off. The eggs are laid. An average number of the egg deposited by the female is around 3,000 eggs, and the eggs hatches for within 2 to 3 months, and they remain inside the gravel for about the 1 to 2 months by taking the nutrients from the yolk sac, and the young ones freely swim, which is of about 1 to 2 inches, learn to feed, and they swim back to the seawater. And when salmon prepare to migrate from the freshwater to the ocean, they become this small. They spend some time in the estuaries before leading to the ocean. So These fishes, while moving from seawater to freshwater and from the freshwater to seawater, they spend a little time in the estuaries to cope up with the changes in the salinity. So this is a picture showing the salmon life cycle. So once again, anadromous type of migration, it involves a migration of fishes from seawater to freshwater, example salmon and trout. And to maintain the homeostasis, the freshwater species have several adaptations for rendering the ions and getting rid of the excess water. And they actively take in the ions across the gill and the skin, and the process requires the energy. So inside, when they move from freshwater to when they move from the seawater to freshwater, there is a decrease in the ion concentration in the medium in which they live. So there is a intake of water, and the excess water has to be eliminated from the body. And this is done by the several adaptations seen in these fishes. And you need not study these adaptations in detail, but still you just mentioned that there are the certain adaptations. So that's all about the anadromous type of migration. Next type, it is a catadromous type of migration. In catadromous fishes are the ones which migrate from the seawater to the from the freshwater to the sea to spawn, or once they stay their entire life in the freshwater and they migrate to downstream to the sea to spawn. And the best example is the eel of the genus Anguilla. And about the number of the 16 species are the best known. The North American eel, European eel, etc. exhibits this type of migration. And it travels several thousand kilometers starting from the rivers, reaching to the spawning ground across in the sea. After spawning, the adults die off, and the larvae of the eel drift from the spawning grounds. Takes several months. Sometimes it takes about 3 years to reach to become the adult. And the young ones are the young ones are born in the ocean. They mature in the freshwater or the estuarine habits and return to the ocean to the spawn. And this makes them the catadromous fish. This is a life cycle showing the catadromous type of migration. So once again, the type of migration involves a movement of large number of fishes from freshwater to seawater. So freshwater to seawater is catadromous migration, and generally for spawning it happens in the case of the Anguilla, the eel. And before migration, the following changes takes place in these eels. They deposit the large amount of fat in their body, which serves as a reserve food during the long journey. So sometimes it takes months to reach the spawning ground, and they store the reserve fat materials in the body as a reserve food. The color changes from the yellow to the metallic silvery gray. You can see here a metallic silvery gray. The eel, it is a catadrom. It is a eel that exhibits ready to undergo the catadromous migration. The digestive tract shrinks and they stop feeding. So at the time during the migration, they hardly feeds. The eyes becomes enlarged and the vision sharpens. And other sensory organs are also there are certain changes that is seen in the other sensory organs. The skin becomes a respiratory. The gonads gets matured and enlarged, and they become restless and develops a strong urge to migrate in the groups. So these are some of the changes that is taking place in the adult fishes before they have the tendency to migrate. That's all about the catadromous type of migration. The next migration is Pteromodromous migration. And in this type of migration, they are truly the migratory fishes, and the movement is confined to the freshwater. In Pteromodromous migration, the migration is confined to the freshwater itself. It is exhibited by the certain fishes like carp, trouts, catfishes, etc. And during this type of migration, they travels long distances in the rivers to locate the suitable spawning grounds. Some migrates to the upstream, whereas some migrates to the downstream. And after laying the eggs, the parents return to the feeding area as the food is available only for the young ones and cannot support the adult. So this is a pictorial representation of the Pteromodromus migration. The adult either migrates to the upstream or to the downstream, and after the laying the eggs they just return because they know that the food will be minimum for the growth of this young one hatching from the egg. And besides the spawning needs, this type of migration may also be due to the competition. So this type of migration, that is a Pteromodromus migration, also takes place as a result of competition. When the population increases in one area due to the scarcity of the food, the fishes migrates from one area to another, and this type of migration may be due to the food scarcity, and they just move to the area where there is abundant supply of food. Then the next step is Oceanodromus migration. In this Oceanodromus migration, it's purely migratory marine fishes, and long distance travel within the sea to spawn and to return to the feeding areas. So they just move long distances in the sea itself to spawn, and then they return back to the feeding areas, and there are no barriers within the sea, and the fishes have learned to migrate in order to take the advantages of the favorable conditions wherever they occur. And it's purely the Oceanodromus type of migration and Pteromodromus migration is purely for the availability of the food, and they differ mainly from one another by the extent of their migration. Example in mackerels, tunas, herrings, coats, etc. They exhibit the Oceanodromus migration. And during this migration, these species visit the spawning areas, nursery areas, feeding areas, and the winging areas. So they have the certain areas to lay eggs, and that area will be of young ones. And migration of herring. The herrings are a good example for the Oceanodromus migration. They are seen in the North Atlantic and the North Pacific Ocean. They exhibit the seasonal migration, and they're covering in the large area, and also undertake the daily vertical migration. Vertical migration in the sense that it's a short distance migration for the food, up and down migration to the top layer and to the bottom layer of the ocean. And also they undergo the annual migration to the spawning ground near to the coast. So they also exhibit spawning migration. And after spawning, the larvae drift along the water current to the wintering area near the coast where they grow and feed. And on becoming the adult, they join the older fish in the migration cycle. They return to the spawning area when mature, and it takes about 4 to 6 years. So in herring type of fishes, the migration takes place within the ocean itself, and they exhibit a good example for Oceanodromus migration. Then let's see the different method of migration or the migratory movement. A fish can migrate by performing the certain movements either by the drifting, that is, the fishes are carried passively by the water currents. This is called as a drift and may result in the directional movements. If the order of all the water movement is in the one direction, that means the fishes moves according to the water currents. So that is a simple drifting. And the second type of method of migration or the migratory movement is random locomotory movement. That is a locomotory movement that are the random in direction leads to the uniform distribution and the aggregation. That is, if the fishes are released from a point in a uniform environment and they spread out in all directions, the process is called as a dispersal, and that leads to the uniform distribution of the species. So the species itself randomly distribute themselves in uniform so as to disperse the maximum number of eggs. So there is a random locomotory movement that is exhibited by the fishes. That's the second type of migratory movement. Then the third, it is a orientation swimming movement.